this story about the far south side, the south side statue of Christopher Columbus. Lori Lightfoot is obviously pandering to the mob, and the mob is winning. Chicago's last remaining statue of Christopher Columbus has been removed. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, for several days, the statue had avoided the fate of two others, one in Little Italy, the other in Grant Park, that were removed in the middle of the night after protests. But this morning, Lori Lightfoot's office confirmed the removal of the far south side statue as well. This was a bronze figure. It was on a small triangular concrete pedestrian island surrounded by South Chicago Avenue, Exchange Avenue, and 92nd Street in the South Chicago neighborhood. The protesters hadn't gone after this statue for some reason, unlike the other two statues. But the mayor was worried that the protesters would injure themselves in trying to topple the statue. She said, here's the statement, following public safety concerns over planned demonstrations, the city has temporarily relocated the Christopher Columbus statue at Drake Fountain in the South Chicago neighborhood until further notice. This temporary relocation, wink, wink, it's never going back, is part of an effort to prevent individuals from pulling down statues in an extremely dangerous manner, which has created unsafe situations for protesters and police, as well as residents of the surrounding community. The statue was dedicated in 1892. It was a gift from Chicago hotel magnate John B. Drake. It's believed to be Chicago's first statue commemorating Christopher Columbus. Listen, I think perhaps in a spirit of protest, we just should never mention Christopher Columbus's name again. We should just say the C word, CC word. It's not acceptable. Anything else is fair game, but we just can't. And same with George Washington. Same with any of these leaders. And I do believe that she's onto something. If the vandals could potentially get hurt in tearing down a statue, we got to extend that. If they want to burn down a courthouse, just tear the courthouse down so they don't get hurt when they light the building on fire. That's Lori Lightfoot's rationale. You know that, right? And they've been trying to burn down the courthouse in Portland. Now they're bringing in state troops to replace the federal law enforcement that has left because of the mob demanding the federal law enforcement be removed. So they're out, replaced with the state law enforcement. Now, I don't know what the mob thinks about state law enforcement. They hate the federal law enforcement because, they're Trump's troops. So this could pose a dilemma because now that the state police are trying to guard and protect the federal courthouse from being burned down, like they burned down the Target. They burned down an entire Target in Minneapolis. They burned down buildings all over America. So now that the state troopers are trying to protect the federal courthouse, maybe the mob will forgive them. Because after all, that's represented by the state, which is led by a Democrat governor. Because I don't know what the rules are anymore about what the mob gets and what the mob doesn't get. I do know that the mob will be livid if Republicans win on November the 3rd. Seems to me that ought to be a good enough reason to vote Republican.